Hey guys, it's Mark with Spaghetti Backpacking. Out here in my backyard, last night my youngest son, he's 7, just turned 7 just a little while ago. We decided to hang out here in the backyard. He was set up over there in his Ciroc hammock with my Mountain Wilderness Underquilt and a Jack's or Better top quilt. And he was nice and toasty, but middle of the night he woke up, had to pee, and after that didn't want to get back in the hammock, wanted to go inside. A couple of reasons for that. One was, as you can see, we didn't have any tarps up. The beginning of the video here, you can see the time lapse with the clouds coming over, and what that ended up doing was putting a heavy layer of dew on us. So anytime he reached outside of his sleeping bag, it was wet. So or his top quilt, it was wet. So we decided to wrap it up and go inside. But I did notice last night that when the wind picked up, there was a little bit of a draft coming through underneath my underquilt. And I hadn't set it up prior to last night. That was the first night I've used it. So I wanted to show you guys the steps that I go through to make the adjustments. And having the camera is a really nice thing because you're able to lay in it without having someone else looking to tell you whether or not there's gaps. If it's just you, it makes it really nice that you can take a look with the camera and see where the gaps are and what adjustments need to be made to go ahead and do that. So if you take a look at the other hammock over there, you can see at the top, or the underquilt is kind of pulling it up. Now it's not quite as exaggerated on that hammock because that's only a 9-foot hammock, but this one is 10.5 foot, and my other one is another 10-foot one. So that extra foot, actually, the shock cord gets stretched a little bit further and it sucks it up. So normally what you will see with that underquilt is it sucks it up and it's almost straight across with nothing in it. This one was hanging quite a bit below the quilt. So let's take a look at what we did.
1, 2, 3.
I'm going away for a while, but I'll be back, don't try and follow me, 'cause I'll return as soon as possible. You see, I'm trying to find my place, but it might not be here where I feel safe. We all learn to make mistakes and run from them, with no direction. We'll run from them, with no conviction. 'Cause I'm just one of those ghosts, traveling endlessly. Don't need no roads. In fact, they follow me, and we just go in circles. Well, now I'm told that this is life, and pain is just a simple compromise, so we can get what we want out of it. Would someone care to classify our broken hearts and twisted minds, so I can find someone to rely on and run to them, full speed ahead. Oh, you are not useless. We are just misguided ghosts, traveling endlessly. The ones we trusted the most pushed us far away, and there's no one road, and we should not be the same. But I'm just a ghost, and still they echo me. They echo me in circles.
So here you can see that the top quilt is actually pulling up the hammock just a little bit. You know, it's up at least over the top, whereas before it was down here, kind of level with the hammock. Now it's at least pulling it up. So there's really three things going on here. You've got the primary suspension, which comes up to the S-beaners that are attached on each end, and those just hold it onto the hammock. Then you have the secondary suspension here with the cord locks at the end that adjustments can be made. And then you've got a third, smaller set of suspension here. Not really suspension. This is really the cinch for the end, and inside is the draft collar. Now, one of the things I did notice on making this video that I liked was that with this different color draft collar, you can really see where the gaps are easily. Now, you can see that even sitting here right now, there's not much in the way of gaps around, and that's nice. So what I did was I used the cinch portion to cinch it up so that it wasn't hanging in a V. You know, before it was just loosely hanging there, and so there was a V pulling it down. So I cinched it up so that it's pretty well closed even now. I used the secondary suspension, and if you look from the top, you can actually see that my head is, I lay diagonal with my head on this side, my feet on this side. And so I actually have it pulled tighter on this end, looser over here, so that it's actually pulled more towards, so I have more on the head side. And then if you come down at the foot end, it's the opposite. It's a little bit further on this side and a little bit less on this side, so that it's pulled more towards my foot side. And so that just kind of helps you out to keep it almost in a diagonal lay when it's there. So what you'll do is you'll cinch these up until it starts to pull up on the hammock. Now I do have a quilt and a pillow inside, so it puts a little bit of weight there, but you want to tension these until it starts to pull it up, and then make any adjustments you need to, like I did with the head side being a little bit tighter, just to pull that up. Same with the foot end. I cinched up, so now you can see, even laying here right now, there's no gaps around there, and that's what I want to see. So then when I get in there, there's definitely not going to be any gaps. And even if there are gaps, that's the great thing, like I talked about in the initial video with these, is this draft collar really does take up a little bit in the case that there is a gap. So what I had mentioned in the video was that you could see a little bit more draft collar on this end than on the other end, and that was because it was actually kind of hanging out this way. So just by simply coming down and pushing it in, kind of gets rid of that. And so now if I was to get into it, you wouldn't see nearly as much of it. So this is my Hammock Gear Incubator 0 degree full length underquilt. I really like it. You know, it was a warm night last night. It was almost 60 degrees, so it really didn't get put through its paces. But this weekend I am going out. Should be a little bit cooler. We'll see. And I'd been asked about my setup out here. In one of the other videos, I had shown that I had just put up these two posts here, and that's why I've still got the ugly piles of dirt here, is the cement hasn't completely finished curing. So that's why I had my son between the new posts. This one is actually cured a little bit more than this one over here. So I wanted to make sure that the lighter weight person was putting those on. He only weighs about 50 pounds, so it wasn't a big deal. I had the party lights up for him last night, the Dutch party lights. Worked out really nice for him. But so I've got these two 4x6s that I set up that eventually will be where I hang and test gear. But I set it up purposely so that there was about 14 to 15 feet between this end post and the 6x6 here by my gate. And what that does is it gives me now the ability to hang two hammocks end to end. And if I really, really wanted to, I could probably set up, replace this fence post, which really pretty much needs to be replaced anyway, and do a third one on nice nights between there and there. The reason that I say on nice nights is with it being up against the fence in this position, the angle that it would be at, would be about like this. So that angle doesn't really allow you to put out a tarp. So anyway, right now I've got it set up nicely for 2 hammocks here. And that's probably likely the only thing we'll be doing is 2 people at a time. So there you guys have it. The Hammock Gear Incubator 0 degree underquilt, how I did my adjustments. Only took 1 time adjusting it, and it's set. It's ready for first night out on the trail. And I didn't want to do this out on the trail. I wanted to make sure that I took a little bit of time and got it set up here at the house before I head out, so that you know, I don't have any weird problems, any drafts coming through if it does happen to be a colder night. Quality products from Hammock Gear. I've been impressed with everything I've gotten from them so far. Like I said, I am going out this weekend, and I've got some other things I'm taking out with me. On Hammock forums, I participated in the Space Weasel Christmas Secret Santa thing, and I got this Eddie Bauer down throw, and this is what I used last night. It was actually even a little bit too warm for that last night for me. So I think I'll probably be taking that out on the trail with me. I've got a little Dutch argon pillow that I just got for Christmas as well. It was in my stocking. So I'll be taking that out with me as well, and talking about that and doing a little bit of a test on that. So I've got a few different pieces of gear that are new that I'll be taking out there with me. Some other ones that I haven't talked about yet that you'll see out on the trail with me this time, this weekend when we go out. Was planning to go to the Appalachian Trail. Some things came up. We'll talk about it out on the trail. But now I'm not going to the Appalachian Trail. I'm going to be sticking a little bit closer to home. Anyway, guys, appreciate you guys tuning in, checking out what's going on. And if you guys have any questions about how I rigged this, how I got it set up the way that I did, feel free to ask. Comments are always welcome. Thanks a lot, guys. See you guys down the trail.